Why would I care what you do?
Okay.
The cameras caught her rise, but now the same cameras are capturing her fall. Chrisean robbed the same woman who once dominated headlines with her raw energy, her chaotic relationship with Blueface, and her ability to turn every breakdown into a viral moment is now facing what many are calling the saddest downfall in modern hip-hop culture. This isn't just gossip. This is the slow collapse of a star who once had the entire internet rooting for her, now drowning in rumors, betrayals, and a personal life spinning out of control. It all started with the public fights, the screaming, matches on Instagram Live, and the countless viral clips that made people laugh 1 minute and cry the next. But what was once entertainment quickly turned into tragedy. Fans began to notice bruises, cryptic posts, and sudden disappearances from the spotlight. Whispers grew louder. Was Chrisean really living her dream? Or was she quietly falling apart behind the scenes? And then the breaking point. Explosive leaks. Secret DMs exposed. Her own family members stepping into the spotlight with chilling confessions about what's really going on inside her world. Social media didn't just watch it tore her apart. Frame by frame, meme by meme. Overnight, the same fans who once cheered her on turned into critics, trolls, and vultures circling the wreckage of her reputation. But the real twist. Sources close to Chrisean are now hinting at a story far darker than the public has ever imagined. Private recordings, shocking betrayals, a betrayal from someone she trusted most. The kind of scandal that could explain why Chrisean robbed the girl who once seemed unstoppable is suddenly at rock bottom. The question is this truly the end of Chrisean Rock's reign, or the start of an even darker chapter no one saw coming? Chrisean Rock's story was never meant to be ordinary. It was built on chaos, heartbreak, and the kind of unfiltered realness that made people feel like they knew her personally. But the cracks in her empire were always there, waiting to shatter. Insiders say her downfall began the very moment the spotlight became brighter than her personal healing. What started as a love story with Blueface, messy but passionate, quickly turned into a nightmare played out in front of millions. Every fight, every tear, every bruise was documented and dissected by fans who couldn't look away. Behind the scenes, Chrisean was reportedly spiraling, missing shows, clashing with management, and posting cryptic late-night rants that worried even her closest supporters. Friends begged her to step back, but the money, the fame, and the constant pressure to perform kept pulling her deeper. Then came the first major blow. A leaked audio clip of Chrisean breaking down in tears, accusing people in her inner circle of using her, recording her darkest moments, and selling her pain for profit. Within hours, the internet was flooded with hashtags like #pray for Chrisean and #Chrisean exposed. Some called her a victim, others said she was her own worst enemy. But things didn't stop there. The betrayal ran deeper. Rumors surfaced that a family member, someone she trusted more than anyone, had been leaking private details to blogs for cash. Screenshots, texts, and even video snippets began surfacing online. And with each leak, her reputation took another devastating hit. What no one knew yet, however, was that the darkest revelation was still hiding in the shadows, waiting to flip this entire saga upside down. The whispers became screams when the internet woke up to a bombshell video leaked in the dead of night. It wasn't a fight with Blueface. It wasn't one of her drunken lives. It was worse. In the clip, Chrisean was seen inside a dimly lit hotel room, pacing back and forth, shouting into her phone. Her voice cracked, tears rolled down her face, and she screamed, "You'll try to destroy me, my own family, my own blood." Within minutes, the video spread like wildfire. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everyone had their theories. Who leaked it? Who was she talking about? And why now? Insiders confirmed what fans feared. The betrayal was coming from inside her house. Screenshots emerged of private group chats where one of Chrisean's own siblings was allegedly selling stories to a gossip blogger, exposing her finances, her fights, even intimate details about her baby. Messages showed them bragging about feeding the blogs and getting paid thousands per leak. The receipts were damning. Fans were torn apart. Some said her family was just trying to survive off her fame. Others argued Chrisean's erratic behavior gave them no choice but to cash in. But the drama didn't end there, because right after the hotel clip leaked, a second video surfaced. And this one was explosive. In it, Chrisean was allegedly heard arguing with Blueface over money. Blueface's voice, cold and dismissive, told her, "You ain't nothing without me. You broke before I made you." Chrisean fired back, "Nah, I was somebody before you, and I'll be somebody after you." The internet went into meltdown. #Chrisean versus Blueface trended for 2 straight days. Every blog reposted the clip. Even celebrities started chiming in, with some defending her and others mocking her for airing dirty laundry. But the real twist hit when one of Blueface's ex-associates, someone who used to manage his shows, leaked private texts showing that Blueface may have been the one feeding her family money to betray her. According to these alleged texts, Blueface paid a relative to keep him updated on Chrisean's moves, her emotional breakdowns, and even her business deals. If true, this wasn't just betrayal. It was sabotage from every direction: lover, family, industry. Chrisean was surrounded, trapped in a web of snakes she thought were her closest allies. The fallout was immediate. Chrisean took to Instagram Live at 3 a.m., mascara smeared, sobbing uncontrollably as she shouted, "I can't trust nobody. Y'all all fake. Y'all want me dead." The live peaked at nearly 200,000 viewers, and clips of it racked up millions of views within hours. Fans begged her to seek help. Trolls mocked her breakdown, and blogs painted it as the official end of her career. But just when everyone thought it couldn't get any darker, another layer of betrayal was exposed, one that left even her most loyal fans speechless. Because buried in the leaked texts was a chilling revelation. Someone was planning to release private medical records about her baby, just when fans thought they had seen every messy detail of Chrisean Rock's downfall. The internet was blindsided by another wave of chaos, one that no one could have predicted. A gossip blogger dropped what they called the final receipts. But these weren't just random texts or blurry videos. These were hard documents, alleged contracts, financial statements, and private recordings that painted a devastating picture of betrayal on a whole new level. According to the leak, a major record label executive had been in secret talks with Blueface, offering him a solo image deal if he completely distanced himself from Chrisean. The alleged condition? Tear her down publicly so she would no longer be seen as marketable. The leak suggested that Blueface had not only cooperated, but also allegedly supplied the blogs with fuel to damage Chrisean's reputation, fuel that included confidential information from her inner circle. The receipts included emails and wire transfers that claimed to show money being funneled to individuals close to Chrisean family, friends, even former team members. The implication was clear. Her collapse wasn't accidental. It was orchestrated. Social media lost its mind. One viral tweet read, "If these receipts are real, Chrisean ain't just betrayed, she's been targeted for destruction from day one." Another post, shared hundreds of thousands of times, screamed, "She didn't fall. They pushed her." And then came the shocking reveal that froze the internet in place. Among the leaked documents was an audio file labeled Studio Confession. In it, a man's voice, allegedly Blueface, was heard saying, "I told them what they needed to hear. I told them she unstable. She unpredictable. That's why they cut her off. That's why the bag dried up." Fans couldn't believe it. Could Blueface really have sabotaged the woman who stood by him, fought for him, and even had his child? The debate tore the internet apart. Some argued the audio was fake, edited to create drama. Others swore it was authentic, pointing out the exact cadence of his voice and his history of throwing Chrisean under the bus. But the scandal didn't end with Blueface. Hours later, another leak surfaced, and this time, it wasn't about money or betrayal. It was about Chrisean's baby. A shocking thread claimed that someone was preparing to release private medical information about her child's health, allegedly to prove Chrisean was unfit as a mother. Fans erupted in fury, calling it the lowest blow yet. Hashtags like hashtag protect Chrisean and hashtag leave baby alone dominated the trending lists. Celebrities started weighing in. Cardi B tweeted, "This? Not entertainment no more. Y'all messing with a baby? That's sick." Summer Walker went live, blasting the industry for preying on vulnerable women. "They did the same thing to me. Now they tryna destroy her." Meanwhile, trolls cheered. The chaos, mocking Chrisean with memes and cruel jokes. In the middle of this storm, Chrisean disappeared from social media. Her accounts went silent. Her usual late-night rants vanished, and fans feared the worst. Rumors spread that she had checked into a hospital after a breakdown. Others claimed she was plotting revenge. Then, like something out of a movie, she returned. At exactly midnight, Chrisean went live again, but this time it wasn't tears. It was rage. Wearing no makeup, hair tied back, she looked straight into the camera and growled, "Y'all want me dead, but I'm still here. And I got receipts too." The internet exploded. Millions tuned in instantly, desperate to hear what she had to say. But just as she began pulling out her own alleged evidence, screenshots, audio files, even a contract she claimed proved everything, the live suddenly cut out. Black screen. Silence. Viewers went insane. Was it Instagram glitching? Was someone trying to shut her down? Or did Chrisean herself panic and pull the plug? Whatever the case, one thing was clear. This saga was far from over. Because now the world wasn't just asking what happened to Chrisean Rock, they were demanding to know who was behind the curtain, pulling the strings to destroy her life piece by piece. The morning after Chrisean's midnight live cut off, the internet was on absolute fire. Every blog, every gossip page, every Twitter thread was dissecting what had just happened. Fans replayed the last 5 seconds of her live on loop, trying to catch the blurred image of what looked like a printed contract she held up before the screen went black. Some swore they saw Blueface's name on it. Others claimed it was a record label's logo. Nobody knew for sure, and that uncertainty was enough to fuel 1,000 conspiracy theories. Twitter was chaos. One viral post with over 400,000 likes screamed, "They shut her down live. This ain't no glitch." They silenced her. Another mocked her breakdown with the caption, "Chrisean Rock's season finale is better than any Netflix show arn." Fans were split down the middle, half crying out that she was a victim of a brutal industry takedown, the other half dismissing her as her own worst enemy. Celebrities began picking sides. Nicki Minaj dropped a cryptic tweet, "Queens don't fall, they rise again. Watch." Many fans interpreted it as support for Chrisean. Meanwhile, Blueface fueled the flames by posting on Instagram stories, "She lying like she always do. Don't believe the hype." The post instantly went viral, with people accusing him of gaslighting and others defending him as finally telling the truth. Even the news outlets couldn't ignore it. TMZ ran a headline, "Chrisean Rock breakdown sabotage or self-destruction." CNN Entertainment did a late-night segment questioning the ethics of exploiting Chrisean's private battles for clicks and views. But the real shock came when industry insiders started speaking anonymously to blogs, suggesting that yes, there really were people in powerful positions pulling strings to dismantle her career. One insider was quoted saying, "She's unpredictable, and when you're unpredictable, you're unprofitable. Some people want her out the game before she drags the whole brand down." The line sent chills through fans who saw it as confirmation that her downfall wasn't accidental, it was orchestrated. Meanwhile, the streets had their own reaction. Fans staged a Protect Chrisean rally in Atlanta, holding signs that read, "She's human too and stop exploiting black women's pain." Videos of the rally went viral, with protesters chanting her name, demanding the industry stop tearing her apart for entertainment. But at the same time, haters doubled down. Troll pages mocked her with edited clips, remixes of her crying, and cruel memes labeling her as the female Kanye meltdown. The duality was brutal for every supporter who called her a survivor. There was another voice branding her a disaster. And right in the middle of it all, Chrisean's baby became a lightning rod. Blogs hinted at the rumored medical leaks, and fans erupted in outrage. "Drag Chrisean if you want, but leave that baby out of it." One tweet read, gaining over 1 million views. Other fans worried that the child was being used as collateral damage in this vicious war between Chrisean, her family, and the industry. The conversation wasn't just about Chrisean anymore, it became a cultural debate. Talk shows brought in panelists asking, are we watching a young woman collapse? Or are we watching a system designed to break her? Podcasts picked it apart for hours. Even rival rappers used the moment to throw shade, with one female rapper posting, "This why you keep family business off the internet." Now look, the noise was deafening. Everyone had an opinion, everyone had a hot take, and everyone was waiting for Chrisean's next move. Would she vanish completely? Would she drop the receipts she teased? Or would she spiral deeper until there was nothing left to salvage? But just as the internet began to settle into debates, something happened that ripped the lid off the story again, and it was far darker than anyone could have imagined. Just when the chaos seemed like it had reached its peak, the internet was rocked by one final revelation that no one saw coming. A late-night post from a verified insider account dropped a file titled "The Truth About Chrisean Rock." Inside were screenshots, voice recordings, and what appeared to be a signed affidavit. The claim that Chrisean's entire breakdown wasn't just fueled by betrayal from Blueface or her family, it was allegedly tied to a massive industry cover-up. According to the leaks, Chrisean had stumbled onto information that powerful figures in the music world did not want out. Documents suggested she had knowledge of shady deals involving pay-to-play streaming numbers, backdoor payments to suppress artists, and even names of celebrities tied to secret contracts. The claim was outrageous, but the evidence looked real enough to send fans spiraling into theories that Chrisean wasn't just a victim of gossip, she was a whistleblower being silenced. And then came the most shocking piece, an audio clip of Chrisean herself, allegedly recorded days before her breakdown, saying, "If something happens to me, just know it wasn't an accident. They want me quiet." The internet erupted. Hashtags like #ProtectChrisean and #WhatDidSheKnow began trending worldwide. Fans compared her to artists of the past who were destroyed when they tried to speak out. Celebrities started hinting in cryptic posts. One major rapper wrote, "Y'all think it's about love and drama, but it's deeper. Wake up." The industry scrambled to shut it all down. The affidavit was suddenly flagged and deleted from multiple platforms. Blogs reported receiving cease and desist notices within hours of posting the leaks. And Chrisean herself? She vanished again, with no lives, no posts, no appearances. Fans were terrified. Was she being silenced? Was she hiding? Or was this all part of a bigger strategy to finally fight back? And then, just as the noise reached its loudest, a single cryptic message appeared on her Instagram story, white text on a black screen. "This ain't over. Watch me." The story disappeared within minutes, but the damage was done. The narrative shifted again. No longer was this just about her downfall, it became about survival, rebellion, and the possibility that Chrisean Rock was preparing to wage war against everyone who tried to bury her. But the question remained, would she rise from the ashes as the ultimate survivor, or would the forces against her finally crush what was left of her? The world is waiting. The drama isn't finished. And the saddest part, this might just be the beginning. And now we're left staring at the wreckage of a woman who once had the whole world watching her rise. But after all the betrayals, the leaks, the breakdowns, and now these shocking insider revelations, where does Chrisean Rock go from here? That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, only time will answer it. But let's be real, what we've just witnessed isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is deeper. This is about the way fame chews people up and spits them out. How family, lovers, and even the industry itself can all become enemies when money and power are on the line. And now, with whispers of hidden contracts, leaked audios, and that final cryptic message from Chrisean, "This ain't over. Watch me," you have to wonder, is she about to stage the most shocking comeback of the decade? Or is this truly the tragic downfall fans feared all along? And that's where I turn it over to you. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you believe Chrisean is a victim of a calculated takedown? Or do you think she's her own worst enemy, digging her own grave in front of millions? Is This the end of her story or just the beginning of something even darker and more explosive? Smash that like button if you think Chrisean deserves a second chance. Subscribe if you want to stay locked in as this story unfolds, because trust me, the next update could drop at any moment. And when it does, it's going to change everything. One thing's for sure, this isn't over. Not by a long shot.